Hey, welcome to the Randy Karraker Show on STL Sports Central, presented by DraftKings Pick 6, where the crown is yours. Matthew Rocchio, Randy Karraker, great to have you with us. Hope the weekend was good. Hope you enjoyed the Cardinals winning 2 out of 3. Hope you enjoyed the struggling St. Louis City SC soccer side whipping up on Nashville. Nashville, if they win that match on the pitch in their kits, would have had a chance to have the best record on the table in all of Major League Soccer. But no, St. Louis City SC comes away with a win. We'll talk about that. But we just want you to be part of the show. We want you to chat. We want you to subscribe to the newsletter. We want you to be part of our YouTube channel and just check in, join us, talk. We're generally pretty friendly.
Yeah, we are pretty friendly. We might get a little hostile depending on the context of the chats, but hey, it was a massive weekend for the Cardinals. Saturday was a really rough one, big roller coaster like almost every series has been for this entire season. But I mean, Michael McGreevy in the win on Friday, Sonny Gray in the win on Sunday, Jordan Walker throughout the entire series. We're going to be talking about him. The wild card back in your view. The Rockies in town.
I'll stop us there.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
They're 3.5 out. They aren't going. Who starts tonight's game?
Miles Michaelis.
They aren't going to any wild cards.
Okay.
All due respect.
Oh, but today's going to be a good Michaelis game. It's in the run. It's in the run of things. We get a good Michaelis game. Yeah,
it's roller coastery. Yeah. Did you hear him say? I think he said to McKernan and that group, "Hey, you can help out the Cardinals next year. Help them sign some free agents. Come out and boo me."
He's Miles Michaelis.
He said, buy tickets, come out and boo me, and then you can help the Cardinals for 2026 because they'll be able to buy free agents if you come out and boo me.
I did not hear that. That's fantastic. Good for Miles. He's got a good sense of humor. You got to appreciate that about him.
He must have a good sense of humor.
Oh, Randy, that was not necessary. That was a little mean-spirited. I felt it, Randy, a little mean-spirited.
Okay, well, let's see. Z-Rob 3725. Well, that's it. We took 2 of 3 from the Cubs. That's our World Series. Well, let me say this.
I didn't see it coming. I'll say that.
I didn't either. But we have this debate, and I think it's going to be, if it winds up being a debate, I think it'll actually wind up being a good thing. If we try to figure out if Michael McGreevy is a 2 or a back of the rotation guy. Is he a 2 or a 3, 4, 5? And I think because nobody's sure yet, people think that he might not be a number 2, but other people think that he might be. I think the longer we can go down the road thinking that he might be good or not knowing whether or not he can be good, the better it is, because he just shows up every single time. And last year, we talked about this earlier in the season, Matthew, he threw 173 innings in the minors last year. He might be the 2025 version of a horse.
So comparing what we saw in the 6 innings pitched against the Padres, 7 hits allowed, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, a walk and home run allowed, versus the 6 against the Cubs, 6 hits, no earned runs, no home runs, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. Pitching. What were your thoughts? Is what you saw against the Chicago Cubs a believable version of McGreevy? And where does that version of McGreevy slot in? Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Or is it a 4 or 5?
Okay, with that one performance, if I were going to judge a guy on that performance alone,
well, no, but balance it with the San Diego one as well.
Yeah, I would have to say, right now, I look at him as he's a 2 or a 3. Okay, so if ideally, let's just go with let's say it's the Phillies. So it's Wheeler and Nola or Javier. Kind of not totally comfortable. See, they need to have a better number 1. You can't have somebody that you're kind of optimistic about, especially, remember, once it gets to October, there's a chance that it's going to be rainy and cold. Kudos to Sonny Gray last night for dealing with the rain delay and dealing with all of the humidity and his, all the sweat and everything. Yeah, Sonny Gray handled it well.
He's a damn boy.
Okay, so so Gray against Wheeler is your number 1. Is right now, is the McGreevy we see, do you feel comfortable him pitching against the Phillies lineup against Aaron Nola or Christian Javier, or not Christian Javier? Let's go with Suarez. But Christian Javier's with the Astros. Christian, what's the other, the Philly Christian?
I'm blanking right now.
Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez. There you go. Sanchez. So it's Wheeler and Sanchez. So I'm not comfortable at this point with McGreevy pitching that game. But I'm comfortable with him pitching against Suarez.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with him pitching that game, but I am comfortable with him going forward because if you just look at his profile as a pitcher, again, he's never going to have the power stuff, nope. But he's not going to walk a lot of batters. He's going to miss teams aren't able to barrel him up at the plate very well. He's got better than average movement on his fastball. He's got better than average movement on his sinker, changeup, and curveball. And he also does still throw the sweeper and the cutter. So he has 6 useful pitches. 4 of them get more than average movement on them to make up for the fact that he doesn't have the screaming by stuff from the fastball. But again, his fastball moves a lot. All of that tells me I see him as a ceiling 2, floor 4 kind of guy. I mean, obviously he could bottom out to a 5.
That's safe.
But I think ceiling 2, floor 4 for Michael McGreevy because he's doesn't have the stuff that maybe Liberatore has on the high end, but his movement, his control, his ability not to get in bad situations by walking guys, that's just at the same level that we see from a guy like Liberatore. He just doesn't have that next tier up of power pitching that we see from Matthew Liberatore. That's why I don't think he could be a 1, and he's a low level 2, I think. But I mean, he's a damn solid rotation guy going forward, I think, in the next few years.
And he's only 25. So think about this. Next year, maybe by the end of the season, you have Doyle and Mathews up here. I think that's a legitimate, at least in terms of swing and miss stuff, that's a legitimate opportunity to have 1 and a 2. Then it'd be McGreevy, and then you can just go with whoever else you have at 4 and 5. It might look completely different by the time you start you don't have a 2027 season. So at the time you start 28, you might have a pretty good group. You might have an interesting group of guys, but I think McGreevy fits in there.
By the time you start 2028, is that what you said?
Yeah, because you don't have a 2027 season.
All right, that's fair.
So I agree with Jeremy Hodge. I think he's a number 3 starter. You Mama, I agree. I would match McGreevy versus Ranger Suarez. Christian Howell. Michaelis has balls, I'll tell you that. He just needs to stick at attempting to get better at pitching instead of running his mouth. You know what? At least his mouth is somewhat entertaining.
Oh, Randy, fair shot.
No, was it not great?
Well struck.
When he, what was it? He allowed 5 runs in like 3 and a third or something.
Great.
He said, no, I was solid. He said, aside from he went classic H ratio on
He's a comedy. He's a comedian.
Yeah. That's well, aside from the walk and the home run, solid. Okay. Well, the walk and the home run happened. So, JoJo is doing very well filling the closer spot. Cairo Pocket, I would have a tendency to agree with that. It's not a problem. Here's my concern about JoJo Romero, though. And the Cardinals did have success against the Cubs. But I actually asked Ali on Friday about what happens with a team like that with Tucker and Pete Crow Armstrong and Michael Busch, all left-handed hitters. I said, and your closer is Romero. And he said, why do you ask me a question that I can't answer? I said, well, what makes you comfortable, or how do you plan for the eventuality that you're going to have to face these left-handed hitters? And at that point, it was Graceffa who got sent down, right?
Yeah.
Because Graceffa has really good lefty-righty splits. But I think that's an issue. So I like JoJo as a closer. I'm with you there. But are you concerned that there are no other left-handers in the bullpen? And they'll fix it by next year. But if you're facing the Doyers, right, and you've got Ohtani and Freeman, or if you're facing Schwarber and Harper in that Phillies lineup, or if you're facing the Cubs where you're going to have Tucker and Pete Crow Armstrong, you have to have a left-handed hitter. When you have the 3-batter minimum, you have to have, left-handed pitcher to face those good left-handed hitters that the really good teams have a tendency to have.
Yeah, you need to do that. They're going to need to add that option. It is a little annoying that we have so many left-handed hitters, and now we're talking about left-handed pitchers not having enough of them.
Yeah,
just a little bit annoying that we're jumping around like this. But nonetheless, it's what you got to do. And yeah, I'm worried about it right now, but those are the kind of holes you have in your lineup when you're a team that just moved a bunch of people from at the trade deadline. If they have to, if they do, let's say, sweep the Rockies, it wouldn't shock me if we see some maybe changes to get another lefty in there to make things a little bit more useful. And
before you know it, the guy that they got off of the Marlins waiver wire will be here.
Yeah, he's going to be up here soon, and so I think he will be a useful piece for the Cardinals.
Is he
Whether
Italian,
that's,
by the way,
I don't think he's Italian. No. Him, the that Brendan Schaefer was talking about. I thought you were talking about the Boston Red Sox pitcher they just called up. I'm like, he's definitely not Italian. Yes, I think B-Shape was doing this literally last Tuesday. I'm surprised we haven't talked about him since.
Oh, you're
then.
thinking of Alcala.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Alcala. Yeah. You're talking about Veneziano. Anthony Veneziano is definitely Italian.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Veneziano.
Is it Veneziano?
Veneziano, yeah, Veneziano. You tell me.
Okay.
You tell me.
Yeah, he's Italian. Yeah,
my last name's Rocky. We can make these jokes. We're fine.
He'll be Cusimano's favorite player, without question.
He does love an Italian. He does love an Italian player. Not right about that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go. Doyle, free agent number 2, Mathews, McGreevy, Roby for 2028. Okay.
Doyle, did you say Doyle? Oh, 2028. Sorry.
2028. He's got Doyle is at the top of the rotation.
That's fine. That works.
Will 2028 be a year?
We're not doing this, guys. We're not talking about 2028. Are we? Are we really doing this?
You got next year in 2028. I mean, what else are you going to talk about? Right?
Maybe they figure out the whole labor thing.
Well, maybe they do. Get him some toasted ravioli. I just wonder, and I hope that they do sign free agents. I hope that they don't come up with this excuse of our attendance is down and our TV money is down, and therefore, ergo, we aren't going to sign a free agent pitcher. I'm with you. I think they need to go out and, like every player has said, they need to go out. Michael has said it. Helsley said it. They need to go out and spend some money on pitching. Unfortunately, they need to go outside the organization. If they want to win in the near term, then I think they need to get that guy. And by the way, somebody thought that Pallante had pitched himself out of the rotation for 26. I don't believe that, because
I don't believe it's true.
They're usually, you want to have a guy increase innings about 20% each year, a young pitcher. And I think Pallante might be right at that point where he might be at that, not innings limit, but that threshold, Matthew, where you don't want a guy to you don't want a guy to go past that number. And I know it sounds stupid, but it's become a real thing in baseball, and he's not there yet. Last year he threw 121 and a third, made 20 starts. This year he's made 23 starts, however, and that's the difference, is the 23 starts probably with a lot more stress, and he's gone only by 2 innings, but he can bounce back. We'll see what happens there. By the way, DFA Pedro Pajes, how about that? You anti-Pedro people. Hey, Pedro Pajes is a stud.
How can you be mad at Pedro Pajes? I completely understand why people are mad at Pedro
Pajes. And catch shutouts.
Dwizite says, do you think Pallante and Liberatore have hit their innings limit? Randy just broke down the Pallante factor. That would explain the less than stellar starts later. If so, who do you think they bring in? Leahy, Mathews? So this has been talked about with the Cardinals for the last few weeks, and obviously with them skipping the Liberatore start, we knew that they were working behind the scenes to figure out what to do with Liberatore hitting his innings limit. To Randy's point, how not yet, but eventually before the end of the season, Andre Pallante is going to hit his innings limit and is also showing a little bit of fatigue. Ali Marmol was on with BK and Ferrario over at 101, and he talked about them piggybacking. Derek Gould also has a fantastic story right now on STL Today talking about piggybacking. It looks like the plan right now, if they need to do it, is going to be to use Leahy to kind of fill in as a starter role in what would have been Liberatore or maybe even Pallante's spot. And this is why tomorrow is going to be so important. And Ali said that. Essentially, how Liberatore does in his start tomorrow is going to dictate whether or not they have to start doing this now, or if they maybe still have another week or so to start doing it.
And he has gone well beyond that 20% threshold. And last year, he only started 6 games, had 86 innings. This year, 21 starts in 113 innings. And I want to go back and see over the course of his pro career, I don't think Liberatore has thrown as many innings as he's thrown this year. Let's see, his 124. So he was right there in 2021 for Memphis. in 18 starts. Then he threw 115 innings in 2022 plus 34 here. So let's see, 149. So he's been up there before at that level, but again, with not as many starts. And I think that's the difference that we have to look at here. So I can see mid-August how these guys who have never done it before, never had to start for a 6-month season. By the end of the 5th month, you start to get worn out a little bit. And I have no problem with that. And I have no problem with the Cardinals protecting their guys. I really take a lot out of the fact that the Cardinals have not put a pitcher on the IL this year. I think in fact, we need to find that out. We need to find out when the last time a major league team got to August 11th and didn't put a pitcher on the IL at all.
Get on it, Elias.
Yeah, it's your job.
It sounds like a piece of information that would be extremely hard to research.
I bet Elias could do it. They probably have a computer that could do that. Okay, a couple of other things about the weekend. Jordan Walker, as Matthew notes on our show rundown here, goes 5 of 11 for the weekend. His post-deadline slash 315, 359, 438 for an OPS of 797 since he came back. Clearly, I think anybody realizes that the physical ability is there. The question is the mental ability there to adjust to what the pitchers are doing to him, and is just the baseball savvy there? And I said it last week, and I still don't know whether or not Jordan Walker is going to wind up being good or he's not, but I do know this: physically he can do it, because if he couldn't, he wouldn't have stretches like this. He had a year, I think his rookie year, his OPS was 787 the whole year. So I think he can. I know he can do it physically. I know he can be an athlete. Can he be a baseball player? That's the question that I need to have answered.
It sure looked like he was a baseball player this weekend. Mm-hmm. And the home run was obviously a huge deal, because the one number, when you look at that post-deadline numbers, and if you guys are wondering about them, they're right over on the left side of your screen. That 438 in the slugging percentage is still something you can't really abide with a guy who's 6'6", 250. I can't. That's not going to work out, my guy. I need to see a little bit more than 438 on the slug. Well, so him hitting the home run was a big deal.
Go for it. And Whitey always said this, because Tommy Herr hit 8 home runs and drove in 110 in 1985. Tommy Herr was not a home run hitter, switch hitter. Tommy Herr was the exact same size as Mickey Mantle. And some guys, like Jason Hayward, he was huge. He's a big guy, but not a home run hitter. Just because you're big doesn't make you a home run hitter. I think that's one of the things that we need to get out there and point out. And the other part of it is, Matthew, I think that they just need to let him do his thing. Just let him hit the ball really hard. And if it winds up being line drive home runs rather than Mark McGwire home runs, I'll be fine with that.
I'm okay if it's line drive home runs as well, but the 438 tells me he's not getting a lot of doubles either.
Well, he's on pace again. If you project out since the break, if you project out those numbers, he would be on pace for like 51 doubles.
Would he really?
Yeah.
What?
So no, small sample size.
I know. I'm honestly, I'm not even reacting to that. I'm more reacting to the idea that I don't know if I've seen somebody with like a 50 double season and having like a sub 450 slug percentage would just be insane to me.
Let me get to it here. So
wild.
This would be since
I guess he hit 19 doubles with a 445 slug percentage his rookie year. That's fair.
So let me get you the exact numbers here, because we want to be precise with what we're delivering here on the Randy Karraker show. Okay, so we're going, and this again, small sample size since the break, right? So that would be,
I guess 438 is not bad. I just need to see it closer to 470s. It's a small difference, yeah. But like I'm just saying, is like if you look at like Wilson Contreras, again, not a power hitter, but Wilson Contreras across his career has consistently, since he got to St. Louis, he's had slugging percentage years of 467, 468, and 447. He had a 533 in his big year with the Cubs as a slugging percentage when he hit 24 home runs. So I'm not saying I need to see a massive improvement there, but that is the one number that you're saying. Like if he does the other 4 numbers, 315, 359, 800 OPS, I'm pretty happy. I'm just if the slug was just a little bit higher and we were getting a little bit more just consistent slug hitting from Walker. And I don't care if it's home runs. I don't care if it's doubles. I just need slug hitting from him. I'd be a little bit happier.
And I don't think the Cardinals disagree with you, by the way. I don't think they're completely satisfied with the power. But here's the 162 game average, if he would do what he's done over the last 20 games with the Cardinals, it'd be 48.6 doubles and 8.1 homers.
Okay. God, you really don't homer. If you don't homer, your slug really doesn't
you're
get above like 470.
You're or your 2013 Matt Carpenter.
What was Matt Carpenter's slugging percentage that year? I want to look that up now.
And how many home runs did he hit? He might have hit 20 home runs that year.
The 50, I think it was 18. I want to say off the top of my head. His 50 double season, he hit 11 home runs.
There you go. There's the guy.
But his 28 home run season, he hit 44, and the difference in slug was not that big actually. So 55 doubles, 11 home runs. He slugged 481.
Okay.
480s. That's what I'm saying. 480 is the number I'm talking about.
That's a good number.
44 doubles, 28 home runs, and he slugged 505.
Okay. So there's Walker and now Gorman. And we've got two separate sets of numbers for him. Since his return from the IL on August 1st, slash of 304, 360, 435 for a 795. But I like this one better. Since June 1st, about 70 games, 258 average, 340 on base, 492 slug.
Here we go.
With an 832 OPS. And that's a couple of months. That's more than 2 months in the season.
And we know he wasn't homering over that run. So that means he was banging doubles off the wall.
Yeah. So Gorman, both of these guys, I think we could argue if we wanted to have turned the corner a little bit now, or let's use it this way. They've taken advantage of the runway. There's just a few yards left on the runway. They have the chance to take off here. Or they have a chance to not take off and then crash at the end of the runway, just like Die Hard 2. Actually, that one blew up, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it blew up.
Great. Interesting scene. Do you remember that when John McClane, so the fuel is coming out of...
I really don't know Die Hard 2 very well.
Oh, so at the end of the...
Spoiler alert. Is that Samuel L. Jackson is the villain?
Yeah.
Okay.
John Amos is a surprise villain too. Twist. But anyway, so he's fighting John Amos on the wing of the plane.
Okay.
John Amos kicks him in the face and he pulls the fuel plug out.
Okay.
And so there's fuel going along the snow as the plane is getting ready to take off. John McClane takes out his lighter, lights the fuel in the snow. The flame shoots all the way up to the gas tank and blows up the plane.
That's fantastic.
So that's not a runway that we want to see here. And text, chat with us. If I just ruined Die Hard 2 for you, just chat. Oh, there we go. Z-Rob 3725. Dang it, Randy. I'm watching it now. I apologize.
Samuel Jackson's part 3
with the helicopter.
Damn it.
In Montreal, right? In Montreal.
I'll say this right now. I have a complete block in my mind between Die Hards 1 and 4. Because I've never seen 2 and 3. 1's a classic, which I've watched many times, and I think 4 is the one with Shia LaBeouf, where there's the fire sale, which is like they shut down the entire internet.
Justin Long and who's the
Justin Long? It's not Shia LaBeouf. It's Justin Long.
Yeah, Justin Long, and then the great villain. He's a great villain actor.
God,
he was in The Girl Next Door.
Die Hard 4. Timothy Oliphant?
Yeah, he's a great...
Wait, Timothy Oliphant's the bad guy there? Oh my God, he is the bad guy.
Oh, he's the best bad guy. He was fantastic as a bad guy.
I forgot Timothy Oliphant was the bad guy. Live Free or Die Hard. Yeah, that's the only Die Hard I ever saw in the theaters.
Yeah. So John Amos had already been killed. He was sucked into the jet. He got sucked into the jet engine with the fight. That's what
Timothy Oliphant. Okay, I need to process a few things first of all.
Okay.
I had completely forgotten that Timothy Oliphant was the villain in that movie. And I was obsessed with him because you shouting out "Girl Next Door" is the juice worth the squeeze. That's Timothy Oliphant is incredible in that movie. That movie is fantastic. Me and a buddy of mine was my roommate, one of my best friends since I was a little kid. Obsessed with Alicia Cuthbert, who plays the girl in that movie. Yeah. That movie is fantastic. And Timothy Oliphant, Justified, Deadwood, he's so damn good in that movie as the villain.
Yeah, and it wasn't him. Obviously, the line was written for him, but the line that you just gave is one of the great lines ever. I think it's a sensible line. So, is the juice worth the squeeze?
So when you said that last week, you were quoting
totally.
That's by the way. If you need to know how great it is, in my opinion, the two greatest morning show hosts across podcasting and radio in St. Louis, both Randy Karraker and Tim McKernan, are both huge fans of that movie. McKernan always also does Juice Worth the Squeeze because he loves Timothy Oliphant from Girl Next Door. Perfect movie. Watch it if you haven't. You'll thank us later.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You need any Die Hard series info, you found the right source. Haha, good. What's up, Randy? Best radio voice in the history of... That is so nice of you, Roman Draco. I appreciate that. And I am very thankful that you are tuned in and a part of the Randy Karraker Show on STL Sports Central. There was a couple of other things we need to get to baseball-wise. So you got the Gorman numbers, you got the Walker numbers. And I just... Because it's fair to say, okay, they've had enough, and we get a lot of that here. We've seen enough of them. They aren't going to be good. Have the last couple of months for one or both Walker or Gorman changed your mind? Because I said last week, Matthew, and I'm going to stand by this, I still don't know what Jordan Walker is going to be. And I've kind of been a Nolan Gorman honk, as you know, for a long time. But I was also willing to trade Nolan Gorman for Dylan Cease. And I would trade Nolan Gorman for Dylan Cease today if I could sign Dylan Cease. So it's not that I'm completely attached to him. But do I think they can help the Cardinals win? Do I think that Nolan Gorman can be a 35-homer guy that hits 6th or 7th and can help the Cardinals get to the playoffs and win in the playoffs? I think he can.
Well, can I add one more qualifier?
Yeah.
Can he do it from the third base spot defensively?
Cardinals are not thrilled with his defense short term at third base, but I don't know if he can. I know that they would like him to be in a little bit better condition, but I do think that Weatherholt could play third and he could be your DH. So, and if I'm leaving anybody out here, and I'm not doing a lineup, I'm just doing who's going to play. Okay. So you've got Herrera in left. That's going to happen. You've got Victor Scott. You've got Burleson and Walker, maybe. You've got Weatherholt. You've got Wynn. You've got Donovan. You've got Contreras. Okay, so I'm taking Nolan Arenado out of the mix here.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your DH as Gorman. And then Pajes behind the plate. Pozo, best pinch hitter in the league. Nootbaar goes. So Nootbaar and Arenado aren't here anymore. Am I missing anybody? So I've got Weatherholt at third. Am I missing anybody that should be in the lineup that isn't getting an opportunity? If I platoon, so I've got basically 3 guys for 2 spots with, and they don't all fit together, but like sometimes Gorman will be your DH, Walker, Burleson, Gorman, those 3 bats kind of interchange. I don't think I'm leaving anybody out here. If I part ways with Nolan Arenado and Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah,
what do you think?
You have one person who's left out each game, but that is a completely tenable situation. Just having to switch out one person each game, and if that person is, and the difference is that right now they have that situation before they call up JJ Weatherholt. And that extra person they have to play each game is either Walker, Gorman, or Nootbaar. And if we play a little game that I'd like to play since I was a child, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. In those 3 things, Nootbaar doesn't belong. But if now the discussion is we have 5 guys for 4 spots, and the 5 guys are Ivan Herrera, Alec Burleson, Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, and JJ Weatherholt. Mm-hmm. Now, all those 5 guys have something in common, which is they all have a chance, if they work out, to be here for the next 5 to 10 years of their career. Mm-hmm. And they can all be stars in the middle of your lineup. So now all of a sudden the equation becomes about all 5 guys all competing for the same level who you need to all give chances to, versus what's happening now, which is them forcing at bats to somebody who, if everything goes right, if they are part of the plan in 2028, they're doing it as your 8 or 9 hole hitter, which is a completely different part of the equation and needs to be treated as such.
A couple of questions here. Can Gorman play any left field? Z-Rob's 3725. I have asked about that, and I asked about it before they had actually put Herrera in left. And what I got was yes on Herrera, probably not on Gorman. I don't think that they think that he is mobile enough, which is very immobile, to play left field. So I would say no on Gorman in left field. Can JJ play outfield or center field? JJ could play anywhere. JJ has the athletic ability to play anywhere. Again, when I asked, could he play right field for you? The answer I got was, well, we're going to concentrate on him being an infielder, which leads one to believe that third base is going to be the spot. And then Mason Windu, our friend, Randy, only 11 players hit 35 home runs or more last season, and it'll be similar this season. 25 home runs is sufficient for Gorman. I don't disagree with the premise, but Nolan Gorman hit 27 home runs in 405 at-bats or 406 at-bats 2 years ago. So if he gets to 450 or 500 at-bats, I think he's capable of being a 35 home run guy. I think that he can be a premier type power hitter. He's not going to be Schwarber and hit 48 every year. I'm not saying that, but like you say, only 11 people hit 35 or more homers. I think he can be a 35 home run guy.
Seems like it's such a useful commodity and such a rare commodity. Seems like it'd be a good thing to have. And by the way, do we have to do this thing where we explain how these kind of turns of phrase work? You call a guy a 30 home run guy, not because you expect to hit 30 home runs every game, every season. It's so that it's by saying that, it's a shorthand of saying his floor is so much higher than everybody else's power wise. And so it's like, yeah, if Nolan Gorman has a 23 home run season, that's not an abject failure in that season, or a 26 home run season just because he's a 30 home run guy. Like you gotta there's leeway in the definition. We're using it as a shorthand instead of breaking down what his power numbers are to you every time we talk about Nolan Gorman.
Right.
Let us get away with it is all I'm saying.
Road to 7. You have 2 catchers in the minors that have to be on the 40-man or they'll be Rule 5 eligible in Crooks and Bernal, which is something that I am fine with. I think you probably need to remove 8 guys from your 40-man so that you can fit the other guys.
You got to be harsher than that.
Need to be placed on it. Now, is Pozo on your team? I like Pozo a lot, and I think I have Pozo on my team. Or do you want I can't try the platoon? Because Pozo is the best pinch hitter in the league.
I can't 40-man 4 catchers.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Okay,
I can't do it.
So he's the one that's out? Okay. So
no, he wouldn't be in my mind.
Okay. So
he would actually be the one that stays in my mind, because the profile of the catcher you need next year, or the profile of the player you need next year, I think you still need a guy like you said, good pinch hitters are hard to find. And Yoho Pozo is a good pinch hitter. Next year, you have 2 guys who conceivably should be able to play catcher for you, or at least one guy in Crooks. You got to figure out what he is. Rostering another guy who's an everyday catcher and doesn't offer you anything as a pinch hitter would be much harder to do.
Yeah, I agree. I would be concerned about him not being here.
That's fair.
Okay, so Contreras, Donovan, Wynn, Arenado, Gorman, JC, Jordan are going to be here. Hampson probably not.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm going the other way. I'm finding the people to cut pretty easily.
Yeah, Hampson, Fermin, Prieto.
Yep. Kaperniak, Ciani.
Yep. So we're up to 5 right there.
We're up to 5 right there already. Then you go to the.
What about John King?
Yeah, then we go to the pitchers. John King gets us to 6. Veneziano gets us to 7. Roycroft gets us to 8.
What about the injured guys like Roby?
I risk Robertson because he's the same age as Roby but doesn't have the ceiling.
So we're at 9.
Now we're at 9. And
Zerpe and Rajic and
one of Alcala, probably Alcala.
Yeah, okay.
Munoz.
That's 10.
Munoz or Alcala right now in the 40-man could also get the axe. So I can get to 10. I can get to 10 40-man spots.
We're at 11 right now.
Yeah, we're at 11.
You just kept Pozo.
You're right. I did just keep Pozo. Although, but I mean, you probably got to go like for like, not position, but at least like hitters versus pitchers. And we got rid of 5 hitters, right?
Yeah. And maybe what you do, somebody suggested
pitchers.
earlier, you trade some of that catching depth. If you think that Pages is your catcher for next year and 2028, then you move Crooks, because there is a belief within the organization that maybe Bernal is even better than Crooks. But
yes.
You identify, Heimblum's been down there watching both of these guys all year. And then you got, is it Rodriguez?
Yes.
So you've got the third. So you can't play them all. So, yeah, you identify the one, and that's a hard thing to do. Identify the one that you think is the best, keep the best one, and then move the other one. And then, like one of our chatters said, get yourself a controllable starter with it.
Yeah, IROX 11 is a good point. I don't know how much the Cardinals trust Crooks behind the plate. No way they move Pages if they have questions on Crooks. That's completely fair.
Oh, they are moving Pages. Pages is going to be here. And I think that Crooks has answered any questions. They like him a lot, but the one thing that you don't know until you get a guy to the major leagues is how does he manage a major league pitching staff? And maybe Crooks will walk in and be that guy that takes over like Buster Posey did with the Giants, or like the Giants' current catcher, Andrew Bailey, did. But some guys just they don't have the personality to do that. And I don't know if Crooks does or not. Crooks is an impressive young man. I don't know. And I don't even know. I'll have to ask what they think of him as a game manager down in Memphis. Because they've had some pitchers that have gone down there and done pretty well, right?
I'd say so, yes.
Steve Wright, trade for Adley Rutschman. There you go. I don't know. You've got Pages here. You got a guy that wants to catch. It probably isn't going to. Then you have 3 of your top 6 prospects that are catchers already. I don't know that you need to make that move. I think if I'm going to trade assets for something, it's probably going to be pitching rather than another catcher.
Orioles are pretty stupid, but I don't think they're that stupid.
Oh, you never know. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they are pretty dumb, but
yeah, they are.
Maybe.
What do you think the chances are that Mo makes one more Mo move and extends Hampson on a 5-year, $250 million contract? LOL. Z-Rob, I think if he didn't have to go to management and ask for that,
you're better than that, Z-Rob. You're better than that joke.
Know.
You're better than that. You know what that was, Z-Rob?
He gave us an LOL.
You know what that was, Z-Rob? That was low-hanging fruit. That was low-hanging fruit.
So what's the delta on low-hanging fruit?
Net.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that absolute softball. Thank you so much for that.
It's fun to speculate, but who knows? Bloom may come in and turn it all upside down. One thing that I know about Heim is that we're on a first name basis.
I just like saying his name.
Yeah. So he is obviously a draft and develop guy. And he walked into this eyes wide open, knowing that the Cardinals had procured talent in the past, but hadn't developed it and hadn't evaluated it. And that's why people like Alcantara and Gallen and Adolis Garcia and Arozarena and so many others had gone elsewhere to perform. Well, he's an evaluator, and he kind of likes a lot of what the Cardinals have in the system. And now it's just a matter of developing those guys. The Cardinals will hire even more coaches and better coaches at the minor league level. I would frankly be stunned if he would come in and turn things upside down. I don't think he's going to do that. And by the way, he built the system already. So the changes in the system, getting Rob Cerfolio, getting Matt Pierpont, getting Larry Day, those are all Heim Bloom hires. So he's not going to turn over a system that he just built, a minor league system. So all he can really turn over is the major league team. And that's a pretty young team. I think all you need to do is what we have to do at the major league level now, and that is develop these guys at the major legue level.
Well, Kevin Duncan has some moves he wants to see him make. Trade Crooks and Donovan for a young, controllable pitcher.
Yeah. I think that Donovan is just too valuable right now. And granted, this team is probably not a playoff team, and they didn't have him during the weekend. But I think when you have a guy that does as many things well as he does on and off the field, I think it's a mistake to let him go. And let me just make one other point here. And we've kind of had this conversation. If the Dodgers want one of my guys, I don't want to give him up.
No. And also I don't want whatever the Dodgers are going to give me.
No.
Like it's the same thing. Like I don't answer calls from LA. I don't answer calls from Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm hanging up. I'm not dealing with you. And frankly, to Bernie's point, I'm not answering calls from Milwaukee either.
No.
Ken San the first went to Friday's game, had that feeling of game security in the air with Yadi in the dugout out chessing counsel.
This is there's no doubt that he did.
Oh, bless your heart, St. Louis fans.
So what Yadi did was came in and he told Ollie, hey, start McGreevy and you'll be good. And so Ollie did, started McGreevy, and they won 5-0. Oh, and have Jordan Walker hit a home run.
No, you guys see Peter Pages, an incredible defensive catcher.
Mm-hmm.
But what Yadi was able to do with him in those 24 hours. That's why Sonny Gray was locked in on Sunday.
Yeah. Now, how do you feel now about saying, yeah, get rid of Pages? He had a home run. He's great defensively. I don't know how you could how could you want, and he's a great fella. He's a stellar human being. And I mean this. He's a very likable guy. I'm a Pages fan. I'll go so far. I'll be like Bernie with some players. I'm a Pages honk. And so I keep him around. I like having good defensive catchers.
Z-Rob 3725. Do you think Mathews has the potential to be a top of the rotation guy? Randy, yes. I'll phrase it this way because I was obviously impressed with what I saw from Quinn Mathews, but I have not watched nearly enough minor league baseball to know when I'm watching a guy dominate in the minors. Like sometimes when you just look at a guy, like people have the ability to see a guy and be like, that is major league stuff. He's mowing down minor leaguers, but that's major league stuff I'm watching right now. I do not have that ability. So I'm going to pass it to you, who's watched much more minor league pitchers. You've seen much more people grow up. What we saw on FanDuel Midwest the other day from Quinn Mathews, to you, was that top of the rotation major league stuff?
That was pretty close, but that's not as good as he can be either. He's a guy. I watched him in a spring training game and texted a couple of people from the Cardinals, and actually had our people over at Matrix Midwest put together a side-by-side with he and Chris Sale, and their motions and their stuff very similar. And maybe I don't know if that's what hurt his shoulder, but man, he's got Chris Sale type ability in my mind. The way that he hides the ball, the way that the ball sails for him, it's pretty remarkable. So I would say, yes, he does have top of the rotation stuff. And I don't know that everybody in the organization agrees with me, but I really do think that he has a chance to be special.
Listen, I'll take a Chris Sale comparison all day long. I love that comparison when it comes to Chris Sale.
So I will see if I can find this video and see if we can put it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith Adams, Herr made a career of driving in runs with less than 15 home runs. If Walker hits 20 but drive in runs and steal bases, I'll take it.
Yeah, I will too. And somebody is on our chat before, and it might have been Mason Windu. I don't remember who said it a long time ago. But if he winds up being George Hendrick, that'd be great. And I agree with that. I think if he could wind up being George Hendrick, and George was playing in a big ballpark, but if he can be a guy that hits 15 to 20 homers, hits a bunch of doubles, is reasonable defensively, drives in runs, that'd be great. Oh, man, I got to find – so – I found a game. I think I might have put it on the tweeter yesterday. A game in 1980. So one of the things we do on the TV show, we do anniversaries. Mm-hmm. And I went and I don't know why I found this game, but there was a game in 1980. Let me go to my profile here. Cardinals were playing the Reds, and their top four hitters. I think the guy that was hitting the worst was hitting 350, or 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters were hitting all of them were 315. The Cardinals had 4 of the top 10 hitters in the league that year. It was just outrageous. And I was thinking about, man, nobody ever hits 300 anymore, but these guys were ridiculous.
On the Facebook chat, Donnie McCleary Jr., if we're trying to go young, why are we keeping a 29-year-old? I assume that's about Brendan Donovan, who's will turn 29 in the offseason. My point to that would be, if the plan is 2028 in 3 years, he's 32 years old, or I guess 2028, because 2026 would be his age 30, 29 season.
Yeah, the prime would be 30. For a baseball player is 28 to 32.
So you'd be competing in his final year of his prime. That doesn't seem like having one guy in that time frame is a bad way to plan for a 2028 prime. It's literally would be his 31, 32 age seasons. Those should be the last 2 years of his prime where he's super productive. You need to have that guy if you're going to win.
And he keeps himself in terrific condition. The Cardinals have no qualms at all about his condition. Granted, he's got the groin right now, but he posts, and I think the Cardinals will. I think they like him. And 20. Here's the thing. You don't want to have – it's hard to win with a group of 21 and 22-year-olds. That's why the Cardinals are doing the runway thing with all their young players right now. And if you have a good player, an all-star player in his prime, I don't think it's very prudent to trade him. Here it is, Matthew.
This is his 4th year. Like, this is baseball, people. Guys are rookies when they're 25, 26. Yep. 29 is not old.
No. After the game of August 18th, of 1980. Cardinals beat the Reds 10-1. And oh, by the way, Cardinals were 12 games under 500.
Jesus.
Templeton was hitting 336. Hernandez was hitting 323. Simmons was hitting 315, and Hendrick was hitting 323.
Randy, as somebody
Isn't that wild?
As somebody who gained consciousness in 1996, that's when I was 5 years old. Have I ever in my lifetime seen the Cardinals team 12 games below 500? Maybe outside of those first like 2 or 3 years I had consciousness.
We won 71 games 2 years ago.
Oh, yes, that's true. They were 20 games below. That's fair.
Yeah,
a long time.
So so your bottom hitter there is hitting 315. Now let's look at this year and the leaders in all of baseball. So the Cardinals,
it's a lot of 300s.
For their 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters, it a 336, a 323, another 323, and a 315. Right now, I'm just going to go National League for you because that's what that was at that time. Freddie Freeman is leading the way at 305. Xavier Edwards of Miami at 305, and then Machado at 297. You had 336, 323, 323, and 315. And now your leader is Freeman at 305. How about that? Times they are a-changing, kids.
It's a different game, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a different game.
We got a chat here from somebody who I assume is one of the Cardinals locker room attendants who says that 60% of this Cardinals team doesn't have the drive inside of them. These Cardinals players don't train enough in the weight room to gain muscle in the offseason mass to better their game. So sad, 45-45. I'm surprised again. I feel like he'd have a busy day to get, working these guys out, be inside the locker room with this team. But I guess no one's there to work out, so he's got some time on his hands.
Muscle mass, baseball players, muscle mass plus baseball player equals injury. So I want these guys to get like the new giant Reese's that cost almost $5.
No, don't do this
during the postseason.
This is too far.
I want to go hot dogs. I want to go Dr. Pepper. I want him to go out, have a steak and a beer.
No, just eat it. What about like a protein shake?
Protein shake is fine in the morning. Okay. But that's as far as we go. And then we don't lift weights.
No, Randy, you got to lift a weight every once in a while.
Okay. Let's not do heavy weights. So let's do light weights. Let's build flexibility. Ellipsis 150. I'm excited to see the changes in the minor leagues under Heim. I think him bringing his team of Heim men is going to benefit us long term.
Every once in a while, Ellipsis 150 gets a good one, and I have to put it up. I have to put it up and tip my cap. Oh, you know what? Good point here from Tut. Always talk to Tampa Bay. Whoever they want, you didn't just keep those players.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. Yeah, you can get there. Yeah. So who are you looking for here? Oh, sorry, he's completely unavailable. Yeah, my bad. No, we love him.
Yep. Mason Windu. Mo apparently didn't invest in a weight room either. All they have is a Chuck Norris total gym to work out on and an old Bowflex. Well, yeah, but you know what? The door frames are really strong, so the Bowflex works really well for him.
So sad 45 says he's talking about working out in the off season. They can be building muscle in the off season, Randy. Come on.
Well, I think that's why Tyler O'Neill isn't here anymore, because he was hurt all the time. He was buff. He lifted weights. His dad was Mr. Universe. Well, I think so. Maybe second in Mr. Universe. Anyway, he was definitely all the time. He was very muscular, and he's still hurt all the time. Muscles do not equate to baseball production unless you're Mark McGwire.
Rip it up, Cards. The argument for trading Donovan is not that he is old, but he is a UFA in 2028. But are you going to win in 2027? If so, and you want to go all in, keep him. If not, it doesn't make sense. Listen,
they're planning on winning in 2027.
That's part of it.
If there is one.
If there's a season. Also, the UFA factor in 2028. My entire premise here is that he's not a UFA in 2028. Because I agree with you. If they don't get him to a long-term deal this offseason, I don't think Brendan Donovan's on this team very long. Because it doesn't make sense not to trade him at that point. I don't think he'll be happy with arbitration if he doesn't sign a long-term deal. The Cardinals aren't going to be, staring down a good situation with him going into his final year of arbitration and potentially free agency. So yeah, you're right about that. But a lot of this premise is them getting an extension done with Brendan Donovan this offseason.
Sound of Silence says he was Mr. Canada. Okay.
Yeah, he's Mr. Canada.
Close enough.
I think he finished pretty high.
So is that a big deal?
Universe. I think
if you're,
we're not going to go after the Canadians.
No, it's one of my favorite states.
Randy,
what?
You can't say that.
Oh,
they're a sovereign country.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, Randy.
so they think.
Randy.
I think Chaser wants.
Chaser's big on the statehood argument. Yeah, the other Canadians aren't too happy with Chaser on that one. And if Chaser asks me, I will nod my head with whatever he tells me to.
So anyway, I'm just wondering. Well, Chaser and Twister are both big fellas, so yeah. Okay, Mr. Canada is a big deal. Okay, I was just wondering whether being Mr. Canada is a big deal or not. Clearly. After a little bit of reflection there, I have determined.
Ellipsis says, "For now, stop it, guys. No, we're not taking over Canada. Stop it. This is bad things. No,
invade him. It's going to be just like Grenada.
We invaded Grenada.
I know.
We took their sovereignty.
We did. Oh, we're going to do Greenland too, aren't we?
No, we're not going to do Greenland. That's the entire thing.
Then we're doing DC too.
Son of
read that this weekend?
Or what? We're taking over DC.
Taking over DC.
I feel like we already own DC.
But not with military.
Oh, okay, fair enough. We had a question here because I'm going to try to put this show back onto track here. Someone was asking how old was Matt Carpenter when he fell apart. His final good season was his age 32 season, which would be, again, this is 29, which would be age 32 season for Donovan would be 29. I believe, not 2028. So Donovan is 29 in 25. He'll be 30 in 26, 31 in 27. So yeah, age 32 will be 2028, his final season. And that's what you sign him for. You give him a 4-year deal right now, and that way you buy up that 1-year free agency, and you get him through his age 32 season, and then you let him walk off to another contract somewhere else.
Yeah,
like Cincinnati.
That'd be fine. No, I like having the guy here, and until he proves to me that he's not good, I want to have him around.
Randy, so sad 45 is back, and he said, and again, he wants them to lift a lot more weights. And you say that lifting weights will injure them. He says, but Mark McGwire was big and successful. I feel like we're missing a part of the equation for Mark McGwire. He was big, and our issue with people being big is that they get injured and they can't go. They can't keep going. I feel like Mark McGwire had some kind of benefit that helped him keep going.
To stay on the field. No doubt about it. Yeah. And he admitted that when he admitted that he used performance enhancers, he said he used them to stay on the field.
So yes. So sad 45, you're not wrong. In fact, you are so correct. The problem is you are failing to acknowledge the one factor that has made you very correct and is also currently illegal in the game.
Okay. I'm going to say something that some people find controversial, but I don't know why.
Here we go.
But I always get blowback on this. But Major League Baseball should reinstate steroids.
No.
Right? Was the game great when we had steroids from like 1985 to 2004? It was. Did people hit a lot of home runs, and did they stick around for a long time? Yes, they did. Wouldn't it be great if you knew that Brendan Donovan could play until he was 36, 37, 38, maybe 45 or 46 like Ricky Henderson or Dennis Eckersley did? Wouldn't it be great to have, let's just look into the future with Matthew Liberatore. Wouldn't it be great if, like Randy Johnson, he could start throwing harder at the age of 38? I think that it makes sense for Major League Baseball to embrace another steroid era, not only so that you have better performances from players across the board, but you also keep your superstars around for a much longer time. Mark McGwire, I think he was 37 when he hit the 70 homers. I think he was.
I got his line in front of me. 70 was 34.
He was 34 years
34 years old.
Pretty good.
65 home runs as a 35-year-old. As a 37-year-old, he still hit 29 home runs in only 300 at bats.
There you go. So I think, this is just my own personal opinion. I'm not advocating for you to agree with my opinion. I'm just advocating for Rob Manfred to get on the horse and say, okay, guys, the steroids was a good idea, and it helped our game and sold a lot of tickets and saved our sport. So yeah, we're bringing them back.
His home run rate in 1997, when he got traded here, was 8.8. His home run rate in 2001 as a 37-year-old, 8.0. So his home run rate was still above his career average as a 37-year-old.
Okay, so how old were you in 98?
1998, I was 7 years old.
7 years old. Okay, let me tell you a story.
I saw number 52.
We are coming up
62,
next week on the anniversary of his hitting number 50. And he became the first player in Major League Baseball to hit 50 home runs 3 years in a row. And it was in New York. And he went back to the hotel in Manhattan after the game. He took 3 like cartons of baseballs, McGwire did. And this just kind of shows you what kind of guy and what kind of teammate he is. And he spent hours. He was up till 3 a.m. He signed a personalized ball to every member of the traveling party, every teammate, every coach, manager, equipment guy, trainer. He signed like 50 baseballs, and it said it was personalized like to Brian Jordan. Thanks for being my teammate, Mark McGwire, 50, 50, 50, and then the date. And he signed every single one of these baseballs for everybody in the traveling party. He wasn't a guy that would just walk out and leave everybody. He would take the team out for dinner on a regular basis. And everybody, I mean, the clubhouse guys, everybody around that team that was around Mark McGwire said he was like the best teammate they ever had. And I think that is kind of the essence of what, and I find him to be just a really nice person. But I'm amazed that he did that in 1998. That's a big deal. A lot of guys, when they hit a milestone like that, they would go party. But he went out and he took care of his teammates.
A lot of chats here. Love the idea. Randy, I agree. It saved the game from Sound of Silence. Redcon1 says Ron Gant was muscle bound. He was often injured as well. Cole Bassett's left foot. MLB reinstates steroids in 2026, but only for designated hitters, mascots, and anyone nicknamed Big Poppy. Cook says, yes, increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. Yeah. PEDs helped Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. I think I have to say allegedly on at least one of those guys. Yep. Jose Canseco, hashtag Jose Canseco, bring back steroids, make baseball great again from you, mama. RDH66, bring back roids. Sign of Silence. I want a juiced up Tommy Edman looking like a He-Man figure.
Would that not be awesome?
Tinfoil.
Now we're thinking. Now I'm working with you here. We're workshopping, and this is great.
Can you imagine the magazine cover of Tyler O'Neill? Oh my God.
Fabulous. Wow.
Tinfoil. Owners don't want steroids. Contracts would have to get bigger, but I guess the lawsuits of health effects would also be bigger as well.
Yeah. And the contracts for some would be bigger, but you still have to be good, right? And this is why you need a salary cap before you bring them back. And then, by the way, that game was August 20th of 98. It was the reschedule of a rainout game that McGwire hit 50. Andy hit 51. Or no, he just hit 50 that night. And the Cardinals won by a score of 2-0 over the Mets that night. Want to know who pitched? It was Donovan Osborne.
Oh, he came up to you, yeah.
Shutout innings, and then Juan Acevedo picked up the save. August 20th of 98 when McGwire hit number 50. There you go. So now you know, be a podcaster.
I want to say that I saw 54 against the Marlins on August 26th. And I say that only because it had to be a weekday home game.
Okay.
And I don't think it was the card because he hit 61 and 62 against the Cubs.
That was Labor Day weekend.
And so for me, it was a weekday game. I remember my mom picked me up from my Cub Scout meeting, and we went straight to the game, and we were late to the game. And you know what? I can actually see what inning he hit this in and see if this actually lines up with my story. We were late to the game, and I remember running up the diagonal catwalks to get up Busch Stadium, and right as I hit the top of one, there were TVs in the corner. Right as I hit the top of one, crack of the bat, and I run out into the opening, and Busch Stadium opens up to me as a Mark McGwire home run clears the wall.
That's so cool.
And I like it, and it was a night in August, like because school had already started and everything. And yeah, I think it was 54 against the Marlins on August 26th.
That's cool.
Wesley says there was a lot of yayo in the 80s and 90s as well. Should we let players use that? Or greenies, maybe?
Well, yeah. So there are greenies stories. That's one of the reasons that Pete Rose was so good. Allegedly. That's one of the reasons that Tony Gwynn was able to play so much. And there's a certain guy that broke Lou Gehrig's all-time record for consecutive games, not naming any names here, that allegedly might have had access to greenies as well.
Do you think all those legendary stories about a certain player for the Padres who never, ever struck out, maybe he was locked in at the plate for a different kind of reason?
It could be, they apparently they used to like jokingly make a trail of amphetamines to his locker. You walk into the clubhouse and there'd just be a trail of them going to his locker. Pretty funny. The most
egregious story of the 80s and 90s baseball to me is that the Padres players used to screw with him so openly that the writers would see a trail of amphetamines leading to his locker. Absolutely unbelievable.
That's incredible.
Eric Cleveland says Canseco talked about how great Big Mac was before the juice. Again, at no point we were accepting the fact that Mark McGwire was an incredible home run hitter without steroids. Why we are highlighting the alleged usage of steroids is because of it let him have a 600 at-bat seasons while hitting home runs at a 10% rate. People point out McGwire hit 48 home runs as a rookie, but again, look at his home run rate. He had a home run rate around 7% as a rookie. He hit 48 home runs in 600 at-bats as a rookie. And then 15 years later in his mid-30s, and then another 600 at-bat season, he hit 70 because he was never injured.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why
there's nothing wrong with that.
That's why I'm saying bring him back.
I feel like the Hall of Fame disagrees with that statement.
Yeah, but you know what? They're idiots. There's no way that guy should not be in the Hall of Fame. There's no way that he should not be in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't cheating. He could have gone to Bud Selig the night of that thing, the night that he hit the home run, number 62, 98. He could have walked over to that first row and said to Bud Selig, "Hey, dude, I just want you to know I'm all loaded up on roids right now." There wasn't a damn thing that Sealy could have done about it because there wasn't a collectively bargained rule against using steroids at that time. He wasn't breaking any rules. There wasn't a rule in place until 2004. So why are we keeping him out of the Hall of Fame? It was a level playing field. Everybody had access, and a lot of people took advantage of the access to use them. And he was still better than all the other guys that were using them and hitting them over the wall. So, yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I think if we could do one of two things. We can go back to 2004 and we can either let steroids continue or we can stop the Red Sox from ever being good again. I'm going with stopping the Red Sox. I'm sorry. I know people want to see home runs, but if I have a time machine in 2004 and I can change baseball history, I'm burning down the Boston Red Sox dynasty before it begins.
I'm with you.
I'm finding David Ortiz in an alley somewhere around the ALDS.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I'm just saying.
I think that's a really good idea. Yeah,
that's a really good idea.
Not that the Cardinals could not have just walked him. They were able to do that, but I don't disagree because no fan, and this includes you Cub fans, no fan base became as insufferable as Red Sox fans once they won.
I listen, you shouldn't and this is a message for all the Cardinals fans and national people from this weekend as well. You shouldn't hate children. They're just living their lives. They're having to have fun. At the same time, that little masshole at that one Patriots parade.
Oh yeah, that was the worst.
That was like, I'm 13 years old and this is my 12th parade, my 12th championship parade. I've never hated a child as much, and I never will again. But I hated that little twerp child. That sign made me so angry. From just a bottom bubbling core of me, I hated that little child so much. I can't even lie. I hated that kid.
So Randy Karraker show Matthew Rocchio hates little children.
Only ones that have signs that say I'm 13 years old and this is my 12th championship parade. So essentially, if you were a child in New York in like the 60s, I guess I hated you also. Because I'm sure at one point you were celebrating like 10 or 12 World Series. Another Boston child in the late 60s, I would have hated you as well because you got 8 NBA championships in 10 years. So not the only Boston child I would have hated, but the only one I can recall personally that I think
there was a billboard in the area on the way to the rink in 2019 when the Blues were about to beat them in the Stanley Cup, and it said Boston 109 days without a championship.
Yeah.
And then we kind of broke them for a while because until the Celtics won, we had them. But the Patriots haven't won yet since, and the Red Sox haven't won since.
And the Celtics one I had to be kind of happy about. Thanks a lot, Jason. Yeah, I had to be happy about that one. I was really excited to see Jason win that one. That was fantastic. But it was the Celtics, and I feel dirty because I've always taken zero sides in the two most famous basketball rivalries, Duke and UNC, Lakers Celtics. I hope everyone loses.
I think that's reasonable, and I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you very much. Joseph Polaster with the funniest phrasing ever. Keith Hernandez did weed in the dugout stairwell. Oh, is that what we were worried about with Keith? Weed. Is that really what we were worried about with Keith? Really?
Yeah. Okay, so hey, we want you to know that we got a couple of things. Number one, are we giving away some tickets for the golf today?
Tuesday through Friday.
Oh, Tuesday through Friday. Okay, but we are going to do DraftKings Pick 6 today, where the crown is yours, and you need to get involved with DraftKings Pick 6 because it's so easy. Just pick more or less of a stat for two or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And it's available right here in Missouri. So today you can go with Jordan Walker against the Rockies to come up with more than 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. I think the red hot Jordan Walker is going to be able to pull that off. So let's go with J-Dub to go 1.5, or let's go 2 hits plus runs plus RBIs. I like that play a lot. And he's been hitting really well.
That's
so
good. I like that.
Yeah. So that's a good one. And then let's go with, I'm not loving all the pitching today, although we do have, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go with our old friend, Jose Quintana.
Oh, there we go.
For Milwaukee against Pittsburgh to go with more than 4.5 strikeouts. So 5 strikeouts for Quintana against Pittsburgh. That's the play I'm going to make. And there's what you got. And you can do it too. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6. And right now, if you're a new customer, get $25 in bonus picks with your first deposit of $5. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use this promo code that you see on your screen, STL Sports. That's promo code STL Sports for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with your first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Still getting a lot of chats, Randy. Craig Lewis says, what have I walked into? I just heard your guy suggesting going Tanya Harding on Big Papi.
Well, yeah,
I'm just saying.
Not wrong.
Mason Window. So Randy doesn't like children, or doesn't like Canadians, and Matthew doesn't like children. I feel bad for Canadian children. And to my point, can you imagine how much, if I would have been alive, I would have hated a little Edmonton child around 1988? What, 5? What do you got? Like 5 Stanley Cups? You whiny little baby.
That's
Jesus,
true.
Lord Almighty.
By the way, I do like Canadians because I know that if they hear this today and I see them out and about, they'll go, sorry. So they aren't worried about it.
I am mad at Canadians, though, because their anthem is just such a banger.
Mm-hmm.
The city game, the guy who did the national anthem, I tell you this right now, as soon as he hit the first note, I was like, I need to hear this guy sing "O Canada." He was incredible. I need to hear him sing "O Canada." Perfect opening note. It was great.
Okay, I want to touch on a couple of other things. Number one, I was really happy, and this isn't the first time John Smoltz, who's a smart baseball guy, has said this, but he said the other night during the telecast that he thinks that Yadi Molina is an easy first ballot Hall of Famer. He said he called him the best. He said, quote, "I'm here to tell you he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he wasn't just a defensive catcher, but he was the best defensive catcher of his time."
And that's the thing, is he was commenting that quote, there was people, asking him, can a defensive only catcher win? And he goes, well, he's the best defensive catcher ever, but he wasn't only a defensive catcher. So yes.
2,000 hits.
Yeah. And Smoltz just was glowing. He talked about how essentially he couldn't really locate or place his pitches anymore when he came up with the Cardinals, and he didn't have the power anymore either. So Yadi's framing basically got him through games.
Yeah.
And he talked about how Yadi's the greatest framer of the baseball ever, and literally that it got him through full starts where he didn't have it in the arm, but because Yadi was that good, he was pitching well and into the playoffs for the Cardinals and finding success. He was glowing about Yadi. It was pretty impressive.
I wonder if the reason that people complain about Smoltz, other than the fact that he's on national TV calling games, is that he's old school, because he's decidedly old school, but he's also decidedly logical. And for me, what he says makes sense. He and Maddox and Glavine, those guys that won, and by the way, other people on that team, Brian Jordan, Chipper Jones, that was an old school baseball team that won. And I don't think that they should be dismissed or disregarded simply because they won in a different way than the numbers people would like them to win in 2025.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I always think there's room for that. I can't think of any more examples. I've used a lot of them on the show already. If everyone's saying this is the only way the game can be played nowadays, there are plenty of rooms to go under that mindset and get wins on the margins in different ways, because teams are being built one way and you can win other ways. And it might not be an obvious way to do it, it seemed like 10 years straight. that the NFL went consistently more passing. And then finally this past year, the zag finally opened back up again. And I think we're nearing that case in baseball over the next few years. I think there's going to open a spot where teams going to be able to zag. When you talk about adding speed and more of the contact element into the game, I think the defense is finally going to allow for that. And we're going to see things a little bit different.
So Sam 4545. Smoltz is a great broadcaster. I agree with that. Zachary Hess, this is a very interesting question. If this Cardinals team makes the playoffs somehow, do we sell out? Now, the Cardinals didn't sell out for the 2019 NLCS against Washington. Didn't even come close, by the way, to selling out. I remember in 21 when they went to the playoffs. Or the one was it 22? I guess the Albert playoffs 22. Those were good crowds, but I don't know if those were sold out. I can't imagine that this team with this Pobo and this manager would sell out playoff games if they would somehow make it this year.
What if in game number 2, your starting third baseman is JJ Weatherholt, and on the mound is Quinn Mathews?
Well, then it might be different. Yeah, that'd be something.
I think that'd get people to watch. The amount of people that went up to me or texted me or I saw talking on Twitter about the Quinn Mathews start on FanDuel Midwest, and how many people who were mad that JJ Weatherholt was getting the scheduled day off.
Oh, yeah, you don't do that.
It makes me seem like there are a lot of Cardinal fans who, if they had a chance to watch the guys they expect to be future Cardinals for the next 10 years, if they're in Cardinals uniforms, they will go to Busch Stadium to watch those guys play. I firmly do believe there's a large chunk of fans who will buy a ticket to that game if those guys are playing that would not have if they're not.
Okay, so if the playoffs were to start today, Milwaukee and Philly would be the teams that would have buys, and the Dodgers, no, it'd be the division champion. Yeah, it'd be the Dodgers. So it'd be the Cardinals. If they would sneak in, they would be the last wild card, and they take on the division champion with the worst record, and that today would be the Dodgers. Then the Padres would play the Cubs. If the season ended today and the Cardinals were able to sneak in, what would you think of that? Would a Cardinal-Dodgers series? I think it might sell out with Dodger fans.
That Lester 2 says that would mean not only do they make it, but they would have to win the wild card round on the road to get games back at home.
It's best of
It's best of 3, right?
Yeah. I thought it was. Do they do all 3?
It's all three at the division leaders park though.
Okay, yeah. So okay. Well, they could beat the Doyers.
I think so. They just did.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do it.
I completely forgot that all three are played. All 3 are played there, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, I was making sure that was true. I was like, yeah, I feel like Lester 2 is correct there. This is what happens when the Cardinals don't go to the playoffs for a couple seasons.
You kind of forget about the way the playoffs are set up, right?
And they change the format. You go, oh yeah, there's that stipulating factor now of you got to go on the road. So and it's funny too because we were literally talking about their why play for a wild card in late July, and one of the reasons was, well, they can't win a wild card series, and one of the reasons was it's all away. Yeah, I just completely forgot about it over the last 2 weeks. Keith Adams, we have managers and a commissioner who knew their players were on roids, but they're still in the hall. It seems like they were complicit to me. I love that chat.
Yeah, there's a little hypocrisy there.
Tad bit,
I would say. And here's the other part.
Greases the wheels.
Yeah, and we don't know, but here's the fact. I mean, these people suspect. I mean, didn't Roger Clemens go to federal court to try to clear his name and did? And nobody ever really nailed Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was never caught, right? So you suspect those guys, but then you didn't suspect Piazza or Bagwell? That just doesn't make it. Or Ricky Henderson or Randy Johnson or Ken Griffey. You never suspected any of those guys. That just doesn't make any sense to me that you suspected certain guys but didn't suspect other guys.
I thought Bonds' connection to Balco was factual.
The connection was there, but he never failed a test. Again, he never broke.
Yeah, never actually broke the baseball rules at the time.
Yeah. So, and So, but even if you just go by the suspected guys who are in and the suspected guys who aren't, I just think that the writers that vote have been very disingenuous in putting together their ballots for the Hall of Fame.
I think that's very fair. Cole Bass's left foot, August 11th, 2011. The St. Louis Cardinals have a record of 62 and 55. They were trailing the Milwaukee Brewers in the NL Central and sitting just outside the wild card spot. You must also remember, though, that August 2011 is maybe the singular craziest month of baseball history, if not in the last 25 years. And the last day of the season of 2011 is maybe the craziest day of regular season baseball I've ever seen in my entire life. Like the things that had to happen, not just in the final day, the things that had to happen in the final week and the final month of the 2011 baseball season are the definition of anomalous. And we should appreciate them for what they were, and we should never compare anything to them again.
I think that's fair. And I think another thing that I like to, I love the fact that we have that to fall back on, because not many fan bases have that to fall back on. But one of the things that we've got to remember is that around this time, little later in the month, there was a guy that called a meeting among the players and said, guys, let's not embarrass ourselves. Let's just make sure that we go out and play hard and play for the fans and play for the ownership. And let's make sure that we take care of these people who have taken care of us for such a long time. I don't know who the Chris Carpenter of this team is. He was the one that held that meeting. I don't know who the Albert Pujols of this team is.
Also, a big difference there is what happened to the deadline in 2011.
You got a bullpen.
You added to your bullpen. You didn't decimate it. You added Edwin Jackson, Mark Sepchinski, Octavio Dotel,
signed Arthur Rhodes.
So that was 3 additions and a 4th ad. This year, you're trading away 3 people, and your ads are Arthur Rhodes levels that no one's going to see coming. So, I mean, just completely different situation in how you built the team as well. I love talking about 2011, but we got to stop doing that.
Can I give you one more, though?
Yes.
About 2011?
Fine.
You had a guy that in the month of September hit 355, 399, 393 on base, 561 slug, 954 OPS, 5 homers, 20 RBIs in the month.
That was Albert.
Yeah. Who does that? Pretty good to have that guy, isn't it?
And that's the craziest part. Like Albert would have 2 months like that. Sometimes 3 months like that every season. Mm-hmm. But my point is that even for 2011 to happen, the greatest right-handed hitter any of us have ever seen had to time one of his perfect 3 months where he has the 1,000 OPS across the entire month, had to be exactly timed well. Like if it would have happened in July instead of September, all things are completely different probably. Just God, that last day of the season,
it was awesome.
It was,
in fact, it changed baseball.
Unbelievable.
Now that's why they do every game on Sunday and every team playing at the same time. Because
I've never in my life in the regular season do I remember changing channels so rapidly to try to be figuring out what's happening all at one time. That last day of the baseball season in 2011 was. Then we got the postseason. I think those are the 3 greatest months of baseball I'll ever see.
Yeah, Amsinger said that that's the best day that he ever had broadcasting was that night when they're going
the Rays. It was the Rays, the Cardinals,
Red Sox,
the Red Sox, Braves.
Who were the Astros playing?
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, Astros were playing the Cardinals.
The Cardinals, yeah.
That was insane. Like the Rays are having winning these insane games in Baltimore. They are going to extra innings and they're winning they're winning in the bottom of the inning and things like that. Like, oh my God, insane. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was.
It was a lot of fun. All right. And then the other thing that we wanted to touch on is baseball finances, because the Braves have to unearth their finances. They have to open their books because they're owned by a publicly owned team. And Terry McGurk is the president of the Braves. And he said, what we have built in Atlanta is a model that every other MLB franchise is chasing because of our ability to deliver consistent results in a cyclical sports team environment. And that's team chairman Terry McGurk. First of all, they've got this battery district outside Truist Park, which is very nice apparently, but they weren't the first ones to do it. They weren't the ones to build the model. the model was built in downtown St. Louis with Ballpark Village. That was the first one of those. And then the other part is, and the Braves are having a losing season, but what makes the Braves a model, and which I hope the Cardinals at some point will emulate, is keeping all their players and getting them under contract at young ages for two reasons. Number one, because you have cost certainty and you have player certainty for a long time. Like when I grew up, I knew Simmons was going to catch for the Cardinals. I knew Hernandez was going to play first. I knew that Ken Reitz was going to play third. Brock was going to be in left. I knew who the team basically was going to be. And I think having players that fans can relate to and get to know and like is important. But then the other part of this is once players have their money, even if they don't have a World Series ring yet, they're more inclined to play team baseball. If you already have your contract and your money and you need to move a runner from second to third with nobody out, hit a ball to the right side, you're going to be much more likely to do that if the manager asks you than if you don't have your money and you got to swing for the fences to try to get a contract.
So I'm looking at the Braves since they moved into SunTrust Park back in 2017. Mm-hmm. Their attendance per game has gone up from 30,000 to 31 to 32.7. Then you had the COVID year. Then they come back from COVID. It's 28.7. It drops. Then right out of the gate, and that they win the World Series that year. So they win the World Series. It's at 38.6 2022, 39.4 2023, 37.1 last year, and 36.3 this year. They were 89-73 last year. They're 51-67 this year. So I think it is interesting, though, when you look at that, because part of the article that The Athletic broke down is that their revenues are up 12% this year, despite the fact that their team has been bad, but attendance hasn't completely dropped out. And I know, obviously, the big money's going to be in TV deals and things like that, but attendance is a big factor. It's a big factor with the Cardinals' finances right now. And so there is a point to the Braves in that they are struggling this year, just like the Cardinals, but unlike them, their attendance has not completely bottomed out.
And part of that is you sell a ton of seats before the season starts. When you're good and you're expected to win the World Series, people are enthusiastic about that, and they decide to buy tickets before the season starts. I don't think that there was that kind of enthusiasm for the Cardinals. And that's one of the things that they have to build back, right? The Cardinals have to get people interested and enthusiastic about their product again before they'll sell the $2.4 million before the season even starts.
And Wesley and both and you, Mama, come in with very useful pieces of context. Atlanta also had the All-Star game this season. The town's to help bring in the money. It does. And you, Mama, also says Atlanta is a growing city as well. There's no doubt, Atlanta, when you talk about top 10 cities in America, Atlanta is solidly in the top 10 cities in America right now. And so it's a completely different economic game than what St. Louis is playing with. But I think this also just shows how important it is. First of all, revenue sharing is a factor in things, but getting the TV deal figured out and getting it back to a point where it was 5 or 6 years ago, where the playing field was a little bit more level than it is right now, that'll be important for the Cardinals going forward.
Yeah, and hopefully the Cardinals, with the new leadership, will be as savvy as Atlanta has been. Atlanta going in and getting Acuna, right, from the international pool, and then signing a guy like Riley, giving Albies, they got a steal on Ozzie Albies at $35 million for his contract. They've done a lot of really good things in that organization. And sure, they had a general manager that kind of cheated the system and got fired and banned from baseball. That happens now and then. Not everybody can get that kind of a guy, but they have done a lot of really good things to help.
They get Ozzie Albies for 2 more years on club
how much is he per year?
Club bonuses or club options of $7 million per year.
Pretty good, huh?
That's stupid. That's such a good deal. My God.
Yep. My Nana's thoughts on increasing attendance from Cole Bassett's left foot. Well, honey, first things first, win some dang ball games. Folks around here don't pay $40 to watch a bullpen walk the bases loaded. That's exactly right.
They need to get more excitement. Ellipsis says the same thing. Who on this Cardinals team are people excited to see? Mason Wynn is becoming that player,
yep.
And that's why they need to sign into extension. Because to Randy's point, get Ozzie Albies, get Michael Young, get all these guys locked into contracts, and don't play around with the game, because there are still a lot of Braves fans who are very mad about Freddie Freeman.
Right.
And that's one of those moves is you have to keep these guys locked in. And again, it hasn't hurt them. And to Wesley's point, getting that all-star game is going to be a big factor, but another year or two of them being a below 500 team, we'll see where that average attendance goes.
Yeah. And I think that pretty much every city, and as it turns out, including St. Louis, is going to have attendance problems when the team is struggling. And I have mentioned this before, but I'll point it out again. When I first started ushering, people weren't coming to the ballpark. It was 15,000 a game. And then the Cardinals win the World Series and do a little bit better, but they really didn't hit their stride from an attendance standpoint until 87. Then when they lost in the 90s, there was a strike there too. They didn't draw particularly well. Tony comes in 96, win, except for the McGuire, 97, 98, 99. 2000, you start winning again. And those were the years of the huge attendance. The attendance generally in sports falls in line with how the team is doing.
And that's how it should.
Yep.
This is capitalism, baby. Is your product good? Let's buy it.
Yeah.
Your product's bad? I don't want to buy it anymore. And again, this is one thing he's right. Matt Olson has been a damn good replacement, but there's something about Braves fans where they can't get over Freddie Freeman. And Olson had the one big year with the 54 home runs, and he's had two not as big years the past 2 years. And so therefore Braves fans has been on his ass. And this year, even though he's still a well above average player, they're losing, and Braves players are pissed off about Freddie Freeman still. Not Braves players, Braves fans. Although we did find out there was a few Braves players who weren't too happy about how they handled that.
Okay. I was just shocked and surprised. And I am going to ask you if you are shocked and surprised by this in our last little conversation tidbit here. Are you surprised to know that Texas is the preseason #1 college football team for the first time ever?
For the first time ever?
Texas ranked #1 in preseason AP top 25 for first time.
That's shocking to me. How many times have they been ranked second?
I don't know. They edged out Penn State by just 5 points in the closest preseason vote since 1998. And Mizzou, by the way, not in the top 25.
No.
Illinois is number 12 in the season opening top 25.
Texas has never been.
Isn't that amazing?
My mind is absolutely blown right now. This is shocking as hell to me.
SEC leads all conferences with 10 teams in the top 25. Big Ten, the winners of the last two national championships, have 2 of the top 3 for the third straight year and 6 in the top 25. 4 Big 12 teams are ranked. And then the Athletic Coast Conference has 3 led by Clemson. So that is just a shocking revelation for me. I had no idea that Texas only had in their history 0 top 25 starts.
Thank you to CBS Sports for having this stat in their article. The program has ranked number 2 in the preseason AP poll on 5 different occasions, including during their national championship season of 2005. Texas trails only USC as the biggest underachievers in the preseason AP poll from 89 to 2003. That's fascinating to me. I want to know exactly, do they have a breakdown as exactly why it's so underrated? That's funny to me. USC, Texas is the most underachieving of their AP polls. That's hilarious.
So Boise State is number 25. I refuse to believe that Boise State is better than Mizzou.
They're good, though.
I know they're good.
They're really good.
SMU is number 16 from the ACC.
The big thing that we were arguing in-house is that we got a lot of Mizzou homers in this building.
Mm-hmm.
And one of our Mizzou homers, Grant, was very adamant that he thinks Mizzou's a better team than Illinois right now. And I'm like, listen, you can believe that all you want, but there's a lot of people around college football who would certainly very obviously not agree with you on that one there, champ. So I think that you might have to accept that right now, head to head, Mizzou might be taking the L against the Fighting Illini.
Unless it's played at the Dome.
Yep.
And Kerry Davis is playing for Illinois.
Oh, Randy.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Randy.
Oh, sorry.
That hurts.
Sorry about that, CD.
He went over 4 in the Dome, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, God, that's rough. We would go through those rankings, and he would not get happy about his team when he was on it. But as soon as you mentioned an Illinois win, though, immediate smile would turn upside down. Yeah, baby, let's go.
Right. So.
There's college football is awesome, but college football is a completely different level when you actually talk about college football with somebody who played for the team.
Oh, yeah, no
like
doubt.
you think the psychoist person who went to Mizzou is a crazy fan. Find somebody who played for Mizzou and watch a game with them while they were watching a Mizzou game. It's the height of entertainment. It's the best thing in the world.
The emotional attachment is epic. Our buddy Vic Faust is in the building, and
I'm sure that's a good example.
He played for the University of Missouri. Yeah, he's into it.
I'm sure Vic during a Mizzou football game is absolutely intense as hell. I'd love that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So there you have it. That is this edition of the Randy Karraker Show here on STL Sports Central. Don't forget to like this video. Follow us on all the socials at STL Sports Central. You can follow me at Randy Karraker on the Twitter machine and at RJ Karraker on the FaceTube and the Insta. I'm also I don't use it. I got to use TikTok more. I'm on TikTok.
I need to start using TikTok more.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
I get caught scrolling on the shorts. I need to start making some myself.
Yeah.
Catch some people in my web instead of the other way around.
There you go. And then tomorrow we're going to do this again. Should we get a guest for tomorrow? We'll get a guest for tomorrow. We'll talk some more Cardinal baseball.
Woo-woo. B. Shafe will be in as well.
Oh yeah, B. Shafe is here. So yeah, we'll have a lot of good stuff. We thank you for checking in, for chatting with us, having a good time, talking some ball, and we'll all do it again tomorrow. Thanks to our friends at DraftKings Pick 6, where the crown is yours. Have a magnificent Monday, and we will see you tomorrow at 10:04. So long.